Hello, I'm David Groninger in Seattle, Washington, and today is Thursday, December 31st, 2015. Happy New Year's Eve, and as a New Year's resolution, I invite you to drink a whole bunch of water next year and don't drink any coffee. I know nobody will listen to me and no one will believe me, but I tell you, if you do this, it'll be easier to speak, and you'll just have all kinds of interesting miracles happen in your life. I know nobody believes me and no one will do it, but that's okay. I'm going to drink water and zero coffee, and I'm happy about that. Well, piano playing is one of my hobbies. I love to play the piano. What I just played was kind of my own kind of an adaptation for a piece that was written by Frédéric Chopin many years ago. Well, I'm very interested in life. I love to study history. I love to study people. I love to study myself, what works, what doesn't work. And every day I ask myself this question: what could I say in a 5-minute message that might help 5 million people? And then I give a short talk about it, hoping that maybe one of these messages might do that. And by the way, you can play the piano even if you have a hurt finger. My finger isn't hurt, it just has some dry skin because it's freezing cold weather out there, and the skin of this little knuckle was a little bit dry and got a little bit chafed, so I kind of protect it. Well, the idea I got today on a talk was simply this. It's called sustainable happiness. Sustainable happiness. Now, happiness is something of interest to everybody, and we all define it in a different way, and each one of our definitions is valid. And I think that the quality of our life also can be enhanced when we really study about, well, what is our definition of happiness, and how does that definition change as we grow older, as we have new insights, as we do different things. But it's important to know what defines your happiness, so that you don't allow yourself to get too influenced by somebody else because they define happiness in a different way. You have the right to define your happiness in a way that works for you, and you don't have to tell anybody about your definition of happiness, nor do you need to justify the choices you make in being the happiest person you can be. You make your agreement with you, and that, I think, is the highest level of integrity for your happiness. Well, sustainable happiness, this has been an interesting subject for me, because I noted as I go through my past journals how many times I had, I got lucky in things, lucky in business, lucky in a relationship, lucky in an opportunity or whatever, or different happy events would happen, but I had a lot of non-sustainable happiness. So it motivated me to study about how come so many times that I got happy, it fell apart. So I pieced together a few things, and the first thing that I found out was this. If something really good happens in your life, sometimes it's accompanied by a bunch of other things that are happening that are good. Sometimes people say, well, good things happen in 3s or happen in 5s. Usually there are some causes that are creating a whole series of good things. So understand what these causes are. Because what happens is, you're doing something successful in your life. There are some good habits that you're putting in. Then it might take a little while, or maybe immediately, but some good effects start happening from these good causes. Well, we get caught up in enjoying the effects, and we think that the effects are the cause, so we stop doing the cause. Like, let's say we're taking very good care of our health. We're getting enough rest. We're exercising. We're losing weight. We're eating healthy foods. We're learning about our health. And I think this is one of the causes of sustainable happiness, by the way, is our sustainable health. Not just in our physical body, but our mental and emotional well-being as well. So let's say we have these good habits that we have in. We've joined the health club. We go there 3 times a week. We have friends there that we work out with. You know, we have other friends that work at health food restaurants and that work at the health food store that we visit, and they give us good advice. We go to, vegetarian potlucks. We're meeting people that are doing well. Well, these are causes. So let's say we're on a roll. We're feeling really great. Not only are we really healthy, but now we get a new job. Now we also get a new relationship or something good happens. We get caught up in the good, and guess what happens? We stop going to the gym. We stop visiting our friends at the health food store. We stop going to the vegetarian potlucks. We start not getting enough sleep at night. Maybe we start eating comfort food or junk food. We get a little bit blind to managing the stress in our life. We don't keep a good journal on things. What happens is we remove the cause for our happiness, and it starts to plummet again. Happiness doesn't necessarily beget more happiness, because on like a chart or a graph of happiness, if it gets too high and it's not being supported by some stable kind of a cause, then the effect will in time kind of crumble. It's like if you didn't get enough sleep at night and you drink a cup of coffee, you'll feel a little bit of a stimulation because of it. But if you do this for day after day after day, pretty soon you need 1 or 2 or 3 cups of coffee, and pretty soon even that won't really do it that great for you. And if you miss just 1 day of coffee, you're really going to be stuck. Well, that's about maybe 6 or 7 minutes worth. So I'm gonna wrap up. I'm trying to teach myself to manage my time better, so that I can get done the things in life I want to get done before my final alarm clock goes off. So I encourage you too to be a master of time management. Well, so one of the things about happiness is based upon skills. There are skills that create your happiness, skills that create your sustainable happiness. And I believe that one of these, which is very important, is the ability to manage your physical health, your mental health, and your emotional health. Discover how you define these states of health and work toward doing it. These are fundamentals, and they're gonna work for you. Another way of describing your physical health, your emotional health, and your mental health, it has to do with your relationship with you. A part of your sustainable success or your sustainable happiness is your ability to have an ongoing, positive, nurturing, healthy relationship with you, with yourself. Keep a journal, keep notes on what works, what doesn't work in your relationship with you, and have a great relationship with you. This is going to contribute toward sustainable happiness. If you do not have a good relationship with you, if you are unstable with you, and if too much of your happiness or well-being is dependent upon things like how much money you make only, or your reputation only, or the quality of your relationship only. If too much of your happiness is dependent on a single thing like this, then what happens if that thing falls apart? Does your whole happiness fall apart? If, on the other hand, you have a very, very high, healthy level of physical health, mental health, emotional health, if you have an outstanding relationship with yourself, you can have a relationship fall apart and your happiness is not going to take a nosedive, it's not going to crash. You're going to find a way to get another relationship. If you have a healthy relationship with you and your job falls apart, your happiness is not going to crumble. Sure, it'll get hurt a little bit temporarily, but because you believe in you and you are managing you and you like you, you are going to take yourself and find even a better job. So So sustainable happiness, I believe, is based on you having a healthy relationship with you. And realize that when things get unsustainable, it's when the going gets really, really good. Like you've got a good job, and now your company is paying out big bonuses, and now your company just invented some new high-tech product, and everybody gets stock options, and now everybody gets a lot richer. Well, if you're on a big roll because of a financial windfall, because of some great benefit economically, if that's what defines your happiness, that's fine as long as that continues. However, if your state of your life, that is your relationship with you, is not strong, is not continually developing, not continually in balance, if your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health is not in a good state, then even in your increase of income, which will always give you a feeling of more security, and that reflects, of course, back to your mental state and your emotional state in a positive way. But if you don't take care of your health and you get all this economic windfall, if you have a bad back, your neck hurts all the time, or your back hurts, or you have arthritis of the hip, or you have stomach problems or digestion, who knows what it might be. Or what if you get too addicted to a certain feeling of happiness instead of appreciating the simple foundation of just good health, a good mental well-being, and a good emotional well-being? If you get too addicted to being too high, that can also cause things to crash and burn. So realize that happiness is a state. The skills that create your happiness are the causes for this happiness. So identify what causes your happiness and build these skills that create this cause. And it's worth it for you to make a self-study. What makes you happy? What sustains your happiness? For me, it's been a positive relationship with myself. And this I've defined as an outstanding level of physical health, an outstanding level of mental and emotional well-being. I'll also define it as outstanding relationships with other people. When I have these things going for myself, my happiness is very sustainable in all the bumps of the economic good times or bad, career good times or bad. So that's my message for today. Sustainable happiness. It's worth studying about. It's worth managing. Well, this is David Groninger in Seattle, Washington, saying thank you for taking the time to listen to this message.